Eamon Khan here for seconds out with former European champion and world title challenger Zelfa Barrett. Zelfa, good to see you. Of course, the diet cranks in and you're getting ready to return back into the ring. How you feeling?
First of all, thank you for having me. And I feel good, mentally, physically, I feel good. New gym, new scenery, new guidance. I feel I'm in a good place, thank God.
Yeah, of course, leaving your uncle, never easy when it's family involved. What was that process like and how are things with Pat?
Listen, it's just my uncle now, innit? It's always love, no matter what. And he was the one who put it towards me. You know what I mean? Um, and yeah, sorry, can you see me
I
still?
can see you, don't worry.
Yeah, sorry, sir. Yeah, he was the one who put it towards me. And like, you know what? I think a new change, and he gave me words of wisdom, and it's the best thing I've ever done. I've gone up in weight, and I feel great, man. I feel great. I'm firing at all cylinders in the gym, and I'm just listening.
If we're being honest, there's very few trainers in boxing that would say, "Look, I don't think I could take you any further." Is that just a testament to Pat, his honesty and wanting to see you succeed in the sport?
You know what? I think it's just a bit of familiar. He's my uncle as
Hmm.
well. You know what I mean? And I'm a man too. I've got children. Pay my bills, look after my children. So I feel like he doesn't want to. He wants to keep that family bond, like you know what I mean, instead of like a work bond. So we've done well to juggle it so far. You get me?
Hmm.
Where it's hard to work with family in any business. So like I said, he gave me the word of wisdom. Like you know what, I think someone else could bring something out of you differently, and it has.
So when did Joe come into contention in your mind to move to him?
Um, that was it was always in my roster. You get me? Like
Hmm.
I've trained with Joe before, like with Crawler, being a sparring partner for Crawler, for Linares two times, and for Dallas Perez. You know what I mean? Spent a lot of time at the gym. Sparring there 3 times a week, training there. So he understands me and he knows me as a fighter. And he's as in like one of my roster picks. You get me? And then Marcus is one of my best friends, and he was speaking to Marcus about it, like when he's new trainer and whatever. Like, sure about Joe, and Joe is like, course, man, come down, and ever since then we move forward.
When I spoke to Joe, not the last time, but the time before at the gym, we were talking about you joining, and he was very confident in your abilities and where you can go in the sport, and certainly felt you could make it all the way to the top. But what do you feel personally is needed to take you to that next level and keep you there?
Just whatever we're doing in the gym, whatever we're doing in the gym, and it's like being a football manager. You just show me a different formation how to win. You know what I mean? Like, might be 3-5-2, might be 4-4-2. You know what I mean? Like, he's just showing me a different formation of how to win, and this is the right formation to how to win this and to get to this level and whatever. And you know, without giving away too much, on fight night, people will just see like, wow, look at this guy, man, look at this guy. So I'm ticking the boxes, I think.
So how does he compare? Maybe not specifically in terms of boxing wise, but personality wise between your former trainer and your uncle Pat and Joe. What's the differences between the two?
Um, you know what? They're similar. In the gym, it's business. Out the gym, you can put a hand around you. You know what I mean? But in the gym, there's no feeling sorry for a fighter.
Hmm.
You're going to fight. You're gonna fight. Do you get me? Like, so there's no difference. It's just obviously different ways of training a fighter. That's all it is. But Joe's militant. So's Pat. You can't hide behind the bag because they'll still find you. They'll see you. So yeah, man, it's very similar. I needed that, and Joe's on me, shadow boxing, on the bags. He's on me. He's pushing me. I can feel his eyes in the back of my head.
Have you had those no, no, no's from Joe?
Pardon?
Have you had that no, no, no from Joe to call out
Yeah,
him
man.
button?
Many times, man. But he's keeping me grounded. He's keeping me. If I make a mistake, he'll stop it there and then
Hmm.
and shut it down and make sure I get it right. There's no point telling me after the spar or after the bag work. He'll tell me there and then and stop it, and then we go again. So yeah, man, it's good. It's one of the best things I've ever done.
I think the key part or recent part of your career is addressing the inactivity. You got this run out coming up next week, but is that kind of key to your success, getting that activity and then climbing through that momentum?
Yeah, of course. We wanna. I see it as a world title fight. You know what I mean?
Mm.
We want to get this fight out of the way. We want to work on what we've been working in the gym. We want to get familiar with each other. This is new for me with a new trainer, new warm ups, new everything. And then we'll move forward from there. But our lives June 7th, and to me, this is my world title fight. Every fight's a world title fight. And you know, Mexicans are tough in it, so they're gonna come for it.
Yeah, and against Christian Bialma next. But what are you looking for from yourself? New weight, you said new mindset. What are you looking from yourself in the ring? Are you setting a target to get the knockout on the night?
No, to be honest with you, no. I just want to do what Joe wants me to do, and the expectations. I'm not going in there to think to knock him out. I'm just going in there to execute the things he wants me to work on. If it goes 8 rounds, it's okay because I would have done 8 rounds of working with Joe in the corner, 8 rounds of working on the plan that we want to do. You get me? So if I knock him out, I knock him out. If I do 8 rounds, I do 8 rounds. It doesn't really bother me. I just want to do the solid performance that Joe wants me to perform and how he wants me to perform.
I believe in the cases you come through June 7th and you're on the July 5th bill as well too. Have you got an opponent locked in on that Eddie Hearn show?
Listen, hopefully I'm on it. I'm not too sure. To be fair with you, I'm not really thinking about that. You know what I mean? I'm just, step by step, taking on Christian, getting a good win, solid performance, and then whatever comes after that, it comes. And it's announcing myself at the lightweight division. I've been big at super featherweight, you know, um, and Joe always says to me, "I thought you should have moved up 5, 6, 7 years ago,"
Hmm.
you know. But because I kept on winning, I'm in that position. I can't just go up because I'll lose my spot. You get me? So yeah, man, I feel good. I'm sticking to the diet and I feel strong, man.
Is the Jazza Dickens rematch high on your priority list?
No, because he's at super featherweight now, and I'm at lightweight.
Hmm.
That's in the water. That I won't ever go down. Like that's done.
So who do you have a target? Do you have goals to be in a type of certain fight before the end of the year?
Yo, any fight. Listen, we're in this sport to have the biggest fights. You know what I mean, and to see legacy. You're not in here to not to fight bums. We're here to fight the best. You know what I mean. So it doesn't really matter to me. I believe I've got the skill and the ability to go all the way. You know what I mean? Like I believe in myself. I've got great guidance. So it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. I just want to be in the biggest fights and the best fights, and that just makes sense for me.
How much do you attribute the loss to Jazza to the weight?
A lot. I just couldn't get going. I
Hmm.
just couldn't, you know, I sparred a lot with Jazza. Jazza knows me, and he was probably thinking, "Ah, he's gonna turn up now, or he's gonna do this now." And I just couldn't pull that trigger. Normally, I can just pull it out the bag, bam, bam. I couldn't even do that. I couldn't even get my feet together. I couldn't get going. So fighters go up, man. I've been the same weight since I was about 17, 16. My first fight as an amateur was 59 kg.
Hmm.
I've been the same weight my whole career. So, you know, many fighters from when they're amateurs, they might go up or whatever. I've just been the same weight. So, it's a long time coming.
So let me get your take on some of the things in the wider sphere of boxing. First of all, we're hearing a lot from. I like to talk to Joe a lot about Fury because he seems to have a good relationship with Tyson. But we're hearing a lot about him return to the ring, then saying he's not returned to the ring. We want to see this fight with Anthony Joshua. Do you think it happens this year?
Um, I don't know. Fury's been very, very successful. He's looked at. He can look after his family and the next family after that. You know, it's just if he wants a desire to just to beat him. You know what I mean? He's accomplished everything, so it might be hard for him to get out of bed to. But then, same with Joshua, he's accomplished a lot. Um, he's made enough money to feed his family and his family the next generation. So if they really want to get it on and they really got a grip between the teeth, it'd be great to. It could happen December time, but it's just how they feel. You know what I mean?
Do you think we'll see the rematch between Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn? And if so, who would you back?
Yeah, there will be a rematch. I think. A lot of money's on the line, and the first fight was a good fight. So they would have paid their legacy, their stamp. They want to secure the family. So I, yeah, I think it will happen, and there might be a different clause on the weight. But a contract's a contract. It works for Ben, but it doesn't work for Chris. But yeah, man, I don't. They might say, you know what, it's 160, but you can do they have to do £10, the ruling. You know what I mean? And it's a tough one because Connor come on late, good. Like later on in the fight, he becoming strong, and then so he might try and pick up where he kind of left offish, but then Chris just grinded out. You could tell his legs weren't there through the weight. You know what I mean? But he grinded out. He's shown that like the mentality of like his dad. Like so. It's a good fight. It's a good fight. It's just really relies on what are the terms and conditions of the weight and stuff. I think
You got Usyk versus Dubois, big stadium show, Wembley in a couple of months. Who are you backing for that one?
that's a good fight again. Was it a body shot? You know what I mean? Was it a body shot? In my eyes, it wasn't low. It wasn't low in my eyes. But that's a good fight. And the boy's got some momentum about him. You get me? Like he's coming out his shell, he's speaking a lot. He's not he's not hide, he's not shy no more. You know what I mean? So because he believes in himself, he could cause an upset. Listen, he hits hard, and all it takes is one punch in that weight division. So you know what? It can go two ways. It can either the boy could just spark him, or Usyk could just put out a master boxing lesson. So it's a tough one again.
I remember it was a number of years back now, but yourself, Archie Sharp, a number of others at super featherweight were like kind of coming up and being you're exciting fighters, and you're all kind of
Yeah.
vying for that number one spot, and you're all since moved on, and you've done more with respect to Archie in the sport than Archie has. Archie had a lot of inactivity. But he just had this fight with Maxi Hughes recently, and it wasn't well received by a lot of the boxing public. I wonder what you thought of that in light of the context of a number of years back, you two were sort of like competing with each other.
Mm. Um, I could see why he was going with it. He just wanted to box and not get involved because he's got long arms. He's tall. You know what I mean? He's got the good. I probably just sticking to his game plan. And sometimes you can try and win ugly. You know what I mean? And yeah, he was just trying to stick to his game plan. Maybe the matchsticks didn't like, but that's boxing sometimes. And obviously, Maxi Hughes done what he had to do, just tried to come forward, wanted to mix it with him. But some fights get like that. It just happens. Clash of styles.
Yeah, very, very interesting, strange fight that was. to watch, especially in light of, I guess, a few years back ago. Anyway, Zelfa, just a message to the fans or a message to any rivals or opponents. What would you like to say to them on your comeback trail towards the big fights and the big nights?
Thank you for just sticking by me, everybody, and trusted in me and just loyal to me. And when obviously when I got beat with off Jazza, they all understood. Every single person that I spoke to, even I had about 100 messages of random people like on Instagram, like that wasn't you. Everyone was telling me to move up. Like that wasn't you. We've seen you fight before. We followed your career. That wasn't the fighter that we know. Like some people thought, was I going through life issues or was it the weight? And Joe messaged me straight away after the fight. I will never forget. It's about 11 o'clock. Unlucky champ, go up to lightweight.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's the best thing. The best outcome from that fight is everybody understood. You know what I mean? Like if I would have was in a do or die and I got beat, it would have really shown my level. You get me? Like, but it just showing that I didn't do nothing. Like I just was off a bit off the mark. But things happen for a reason. I believe in God. That's just God's plan. That was the plan for me to move up. I had to take a loss for it to happen. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. It happens to the fight. Great fighters. Look at Tiafimo. He got beat off Convulsis. He would have never beat him. Never beat him. Like even at say like now at this weight, you'd never beat him. But he just got him at the right time when he was struggling at the weight. It happens to fighters. It just happens. You just gotta. Sometimes you can get a win and be like, you know what, struggling at the weight, I'll go up. But obviously, I took the L. But it is what it is. We're on a different trajectory now, different track, different mindset, and try to be the monster at lightweight now.
Good to see you back on that track and looking to get back to that momentum, Zelfa, and hopefully realizing your potential. Thank you for speaking to Seconds Out and looking forward to seeing you back in the ring.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, mate.